A song you have heard 100 times is playing, and then one note lands and your skin lifts into goosebumps, a wave rolling down your arms and the back of your neck. Nothing touched you, nothing is cold, nothing is wrong, but the real reason is much stranger than a good song. Because what just happened to your body has almost nothing to do with music. Not really. The chill that ran down your spine is a reflex, older than melody, older than language, older than the first human who ever hummed in the dark. The song did not create it, the song found it. It reached into you and pulled a lever that was installed for something else entirely. To understand what, you have to look at the goosebumps themselves. Look closely at your arm the next time it happens. The hair stands up, the skin pulls into tiny bumps around each follicle. You did not decide to do that, and you cannot do it on command no matter how hard you try. It simply happens automatically the way your pupils widen or your mouth waters. So why does your body raise hair it does not even have enough of to matter? The answer is that you are wearing the ghost of a coat you lost. Every one of those bumps is a tiny muscle contracting. Scientists call it piloerection, and it is one of the oldest tricks in the mammalian body. Attached to the base of nearly every hair on your skin is a microscopic muscle, and when it tightens, it yanks the hair upright. In a cat, a dog, a wolf, this does two things. In the cold, raised fur traps a layer of warm air against the skin. And in a moment of threat, raised fur makes the animal look suddenly bigger, a frightened cat doubling in size in a single second. Your ancestors had that coat. You do not, but you kept the muscles. So when you feel a chill, you are watching a body try to fluff up fur that vanished a million years ago. The reflex still fires. The fur is just no longer there to answer it, which means the goosebumps on your arm are not really about the song at all. They are a fossil, a leftover, a button still wired to a machine that was taken out long ago. But that only deepens the mystery. Because a cold breeze raising your hair makes sense. A predator raising your hair makes sense. A 4-minute pop song raising your hair makes no sense at all. So what is the music doing? Why would a melody trigger a survival reflex built for warmth and fear? This is where it stops being about skin and starts being about the brain. In 2011, a pair of neuroscientists at McGill University, Valerie Salempour and Robert Zatorre, put people inside a brain scanner and played them the music that gave them chills. They wanted to see what was happening in the brain at the exact moment the skin prickled. And what they found changed how we understand the entire experience. At the peak of the chill, the brain released dopamine. Dopamine is the chemical of reward. It is what floods your brain when you eat when you are starving, when you drink when you are parched. The molecule evolution uses to scream, "This matters, do it again." It is the same system that drives hunger, sex, and craving. And here it was, firing at full strength over nothing but a pattern of sound waves in the air. But the most important detail was the timing. The dopamine did not only spike at the peak of the chill, it began to rise in the seconds before in anticipation, while the listener waited for the moment they knew was coming. The brain was rewarding the prediction, not just the payoff. It was leaning forward into the music, guessing what came next, and lighting up when it was right. And that word, prediction, is the key to everything. Your brain is not a passive thing that receives the world. It is a prediction machine. Every second of your life, it is guessing what happens next, building a model of reality a half second ahead of reality itself. This is not a luxury. It is survival. The animal that predicts where the predator will be, where the prey will run, where the branch will hold, lives. The one that only reacts is already too slow. Music is built entirely out of prediction. A melody sets up a pattern, your brain races ahead and guesses where it is going. And then a great piece of music does something specific. It holds the note you are waiting for, it delays, it bends away, and then at the last possible moment it gives you what you craved or something even better than what you expected. A music researcher named David Huron spent years studying exactly this. He showed that the most powerful emotional moments in music come from expectation, from the tension between what your brain predicts and what it actually hears. The chill in his work lives in the gap. It is the feeling of a prediction being violated and then resolved, of your brain bracing for one thing and being handed another. Think about the last time a song broke you open. There was almost always a moment, a held breath before the chorus, a silence right before the drop, a single voice before the whole sound rushed in. That moment of waiting is not an accident. It is the songwriter, knowingly or not, stretching your prediction to its limit, holding you on the edge of an answer your brain is desperate to hear. And the chill arrives in the instant the answer comes. Not before, not after, exactly when the gap closes. The pleasure was never in the note, the pleasure was in the waiting and the release. So now look at what a song is really doing to you. It is hijacking the oldest machinery you have. It takes the prediction system built to track predators and storms and the movement of the herd, and it feeds that system a pattern of sound. It builds tension the way danger builds tension. It withholds resolution the way a threat withholds certainty. And when it finally resolves, your brain fires the same reward and the same primal reflex it would fire for something that actually mattered to your survival. The music is pulling ancient levers. It just happens to pull them in a beautiful order. But there is one more layer, and it is the strangest of all, because not everyone feels this. Some people get chills from music constantly. Others have never felt it once in their lives. Why? A researcher named Matthew Sachs looked inside the brains of people who reliably get the chills and compared them to people who never do, and he found a physical difference. The people who felt chills had denser bundles of nerve fibers connecting the part of the brain that processes sound to the parts that process emotion, more bridges, more wiring between hearing and feeling. So the chill is not just a feeling, it is a sign. It is evidence of how tightly in your particular brain sound is wired to emotion. When a song moves you to goosebumps, it is telling you something true about the shape of your own mind, something most people will never see from the outside. And this brings us finally to the night, because there is a question underneath all of this that we have not answered. Of all the things that can move a human being, why sound? Why does a pattern of air pressure reach so deep, deeper than a painting, deeper sometimes than a face? Some researchers believe the answer is the dark. For almost all of human history, the night was the most dangerous time to be alive. You could not see, you could not run safely. The predators could, and in that darkness, when your eyes were useless, one sense became everything. You listened, a snapped twig, a low growl, a change in the wind, and above all, the human voice, the cry of a child who had wandered, the call of someone lost, the sound of your own kind reaching out across the black to say, I am here, where are you? The neuroscientist Jaak Panksepp, who first studied these musical chills in a laboratory, noticed something haunting about them. The chills come most powerfully not from happy music, but from sad music, from the swell of loss, from the sound of longing. He suspected that the chill is rooted in one of the oldest signals a social animal has, the response to separation, the ache of the call in the dark, the cry that says someone is gone. When a singer's voice cracks at the peak of a song, you are not hearing entertainment. You are hearing the call across the night. And some part of you, 200,000 years old, lifts its vanished fur and answers. That is what a chill really is. It is the moment a piece of music stops being sound and becomes a signal your oldest brain cannot ignore. The reward system that kept your ancestors alive fires. The prediction system that tracked every danger leans in. The separation circuit that bound a fragile social animal to its tribe in the dark wakes up, and your skin obediently tries to raise a coat that has been gone for a million years. Now think about where you felt it last. Maybe it was in your car. Maybe it was alone in a dark room with headphones on, a recorded voice from a singer you will never meet, a performance that happened years before this moment, pressed into your ears through a thin piece of plastic. There was no danger. There was no one lost in the night. There was no tribe, no fire, no cold. And still, your body answered as if there were. That is the quiet miracle hiding inside something you have felt 1,000 times and never questioned. A song reached across distance and time and triggered a circuit built for survival, for the cold, for the predator, for the cry of the missing in the dark. You thought you were just enjoying a good track. You were actually being touched by the oldest part of what makes you human. So the next time a song lands and your skin lifts into that familiar wave, you do not have to wonder what is wrong with you. Nothing is. You are doing something your ancestors did around fires 100,000 years ago, listening so deeply that your whole body responds. A song you have heard 100 times is playing. And now you know that the chill it gives you was never really about the song. It is the sound of something ancient inside you, raising fur it no longer has, answering a call across a darkness that is no longer there.